Welcome back to Double Al. My name's Undefeated, and we're here with Alan. And we also have a special guest this week, one-time champion Devon. How's it going, Devon?
Can't complain. Glad to be here. Big fan.
Big fan. Thank you. We appreciate it. Before we get started,
Absolutely.
this week's show is brought to you by Truly Fruit Punch Hard Seltzer.
It's also brought to you by Smirnoff Ice, Red, White, and Berry.
Finally, from the good old 7-Eleven down the street. Truly.
Let's go. Let's get things started. Let's get right into your game, Devon. Happy to have you on this week. Let's get your first reaction after a amazing performance from your team.
I just want to make it known that, low expectations for the team going into the week, especially from, Al, but that's fine. Just want to prove the haters wrong and play strong the rest of the season.
We'd imagine you'd have some words for the other Al, being that every week he makes a point of how bad your team is, and this week they come out and overperform. So
I don't think it's overperform. I think they played well.
Yeah, I would say I would liken it to a blind squirrel finding a nut, maybe a broken clock being right twice a day, you could say.
Yep. Just happens that, everybody found a nut that day.
playing the only team that hasn't gotten a win yet this year, but that's irrelevant considering the fact that you put up the highest score of the week. So good job for that, Josh Allen. Amazing performance. What he should have had in week 1 and 2, finally coming out and getting high fantasy points. Your running backs performed outstanding. So did the wide receivers.
Very happy to see that.
Yeah. Really, everyone did what they were supposed to do. I mean, you might want to complain about the defense, but how can you complain at getting 155 points? And your team didn't score
Nothing.
negative on the defense, which a few teams
Nope.
ended up doing this week, including one of the Owls.
Yeah, I was very happy. Can't
As
complain.
as far as Dom's team, I think it's interesting to see that Tyler Boyd got the exact amount of points that he was projected to get, which I just now noticed, and I think that's funny. Also, besides, it seems like the team
That is the
relatively
least
underperformed.
important fact you have ever said.
Thank you.
It really is.
The everybody, it seemed, for the most part, underperformed for Dom's team, except for Kareem Hunt, who you could say was really kicking it out there.
Except for
Actually,
Tyler
was really
Boyd,
kicking it was Tucker.
exactly what he was supposed to score.
That's true. Justin Tucker can't ignore that 66-yard field goal to win it.
Also, it didn't even make sense in my head what you just said about Kareem Hunt, but now it does. So that's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Thank you.
Yeah, so moving forward, Devon's got to keep up these same kind of scores to keep getting wins and winning his division. It looks like it's not going to be too tough a division for him to make that victory happen if he keeps scores up like this. Some other teams might be able to make some moves and compete with him. We'll see what happens throughout the rest of the season. Dom needs to find that first win throughout the year. Playoffs might be out of the picture starting 0-3, but hopefully he can better his position to be, not in the contending for the Griff.
Never want to be there.
Never want to be there.
Bad spot.
Bad spot to be in. All right, let's move on to what was the most competitive game of the week. Came down to a super exciting performance from George Kittle. Joey scoring 133.68. Ian getting 133.28, only a .4 difference. Second closest game of the year after Devon's week 1. Incredible game in itself. This is also an extremely close game. I don't know if it's at that level, but it was fun to watch, fun to keep up with. From Joey's side, Cooper Kupp, amazing performance. And
Yeah, he's been a stud all year.
he's been a stud all year. I mean, that Rams team is super good.
No, they're a legit contender for the
They're a legit
Super
contender,
Bowl, I think.
for real. They're definitely playoff contenders. We'll see if they can make it all the way to the Super Bowl. And
On
then
the other hand, it's a rare week for Ian's team in which he had quite a few underperformances. David Montgomery, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Lockett, TJ Hawkinson, all of them were just not very good. this week.
I do want to say something about Hopkins though.
Go ahead.
I wouldn't be too concerned about him. He's actually been fighting off an injury the last week, so he'll be out there every week when he can. But I wouldn't be too worried about it.
Another interesting thing about that Cardinals team is they're playing the Rams this upcoming week, so that could be a pretty explosive offensive game. I know the Cardinals have been awesome on offense so far this year, and the Rams have a super good defense, so that's the only thing that might stop that. But that should be a really good game to watch.
Yeah, that could be game of the week for sure.
Especially considering pretty much the entire Cardinals offense and the entire Rams offense are owned by fantasy teams because they're just such high performers and high producers of fantasy points.
And then for Ian, Mike Williams, of course, had a great week, but also that Browns defense is very good, so he got a lot of points out of them. It's pretty crazy that Ian was able to get 133 points with 4 skill players all getting less than 8 points on the week. So the fact that it was even as close as it was, and the fact that he had a big lead for a while is pretty impressive.
And on the other side, Joey had one of his running backs score 3.1 points, and he still came out on top. So, super impressive. And Joey actually sent Double Al a statement in this week. I'm going to go ahead and read. Want to start off by first saying that Ian's team is for sure making the championship game. The Chargers also have the best team in football, apparently, as Austin Eckler and Mike Williams combined for 55 fantasy points. I think that might be a hot take. Ian still managed to put up 133 points with DeAndre Hopkins and Tyler Lockett getting a combined 12 points, going along with what Alan said. It looks like he's fallen asleep because this is a long statement.
Sorry.
Cooper Kupp is a gift sent from the fantasy gods and has been carrying my team. Before his game, I thought I had no shot at winning, as a lot of things were going wrong for me and a lot of things went right for Ian. All came down to Kittle's performance, where I knew he needed to get 16.7 points for me to win. I remember seeing one of the fantasy analysts say he was due for a breakout game, and realizing that the 49ers run game had been taking some hits, I thought he had a good shot at breaking the point threshold. Was looking grim until the last drive of the game, where he got a couple catches and got a good amount of yards. Definitely most thrilling game of the season so far. And I think we're all going to agree that this is not the most thrilling fantasy game of the year so far. Second most, behind Devon's. Still extremely fun to watch.
I think we can all...
Joey.
Oh, go ahead.
Just I'd like to say to Joey, thanks for recapping a kind of pointless game. It was, against Green Bay, gave too much time to Aaron Rodgers, and at the end of the day, Ian's going to win 95% of these matchups anyway. So I'm just glad that Joey got one.
I think we can all agree that Joey probably hired his younger sister to write that statement. There was a lot of big words in there that I don't think Joey has the capability of spelling.
Let's get that out of here. Let's get that statement out of there.
Okay. Yeah.
I enjoyed hearing it. I thought it was well thought out. All right, moving on.
I think it was kind of pointless, but it was well worded. Proud of that.
Bobby
saying I'm not confident in his ability to sound out all those words, let alone spell them. So I'm just gonna assume it was Michaela.
Moving on to your game, Alan. My prediction came true of Bobby scoring the least amount of points. I'm sorry, Bobby. This week I'll predict someone else scores the least, because apparently that's all I can predict. And Alan performing all right, getting 116. But a dub's a dub, so good job for you. Justin Herbert outperforming. I don't know why you played Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, so I guess I can get into this. This is my second win in a row in which my point total was not super impressive. I think the most points I've gotten was in a week was my week 1 loss, which is funny. But yeah, so I guess I've had a little bit of luck of going up against teams who've scored less than me, although I think my team has the capability to score a lot. Justin Herbert, like I've been saying in past weeks, he's been underperforming for me, so I'm glad that he could go out and get 30. Miles Sanders, not a great week, but enough to get me that insurance to win. Darrell Henderson, I was a big dumb idiot and decided to not check the not check my lineup right before the Sunday game, so I didn't see that he was out. And then, yeah, Metcalf and Brandon Cooks, both good performances. Travis Kelce, a good performance. Debo Samuel, not bad. And I might have to pick up a new defense pretty soon because Washington just hasn't been it so far. And then Tyler Bass,
Yeah.
a nice 14
Especially
points.
going up against Buffalo, that was a bold call.
I don't think it was bold. I think it was, again, a lack of checking the lineup. If you had seen any of Washington's games this year, you should have known that teams can just walk over that secondary, and it's not a good team.
Yes, I've been relying too much on their defensive line, but I haven't been, that was my thought when I drafted them, but it has proven to be unsuccessful, and I am definitely in the market for a new defense.
That probably seems like a wise move.
Yeah, now
you never want to get negative points from your defense, but
your kicker scored 14 points, Alan. Your kicker scoring 14 points. What round did you get your kicker in, Alan?
Here we go. I was waiting for this.
Probably like one of the later rounds. Probably around when everybody else was grabbing their kickers, except for a couple people in the league who took it a little earlier. But
I mean, we make fun of him, but he scored the most amount of points this week.
He did score the most amount, yes.
I would like to make a statement on the elephant in the room. Yes, it was a dumb decision. But in my defense, I was half paying attention to what round we were in. So it was a mistake.
Okay. You weren't taking it too seriously. All right.
No, I'm not. I mean, I still have, a reliable kicker that's going to put up points because that's what happens when you're in Kansas City.
Alrighty.
It's true. That's true.
Let's take a look at Bobby's team. Tunyon getting 1.6 definitely didn't help. The Buccaneers defense scoring negative, super unexpected.
I mean, James White put up 0.6 points.
Yeah.
Well, he also got hurt. He's
that's true.
He's getting put on IR. Happened early in the game.
And then Robert Woods just underperforming. A whole lot of things went wrong for Bobby this week. I don't think this is necessarily defining how his team's going to perform in the future. I don't know if he's going to be.
No, but at the same time,
yeah.
Being in the division that we're in, we definitely have the weakest division, and this can happen to any team in there.
It's a good
truly.
Point. Yeah. Truly.
Way to work the sponsor in there.
Smirnoff.
Do it.
Smirnoff. It's definitely not empty.
You're an alcoholic. All right. Any other thoughts on this game?
I just think, I got, like I said before, a little bit of a product of luck. The fact that I played a player who didn't play and my defense got -8 points. You're rarely going to see a win when that happens. So I think I got lucky this week, and I'm looking to make improvements on next week.
Good stuff.
Just like I said, for this division, you can underperform and still have a chance to take W. So
awesome. All right, another surprising upset of the week. Anthony comes in and gets his first win of the year from an underperforming Zane's team. Congrats to Anthony. I think it's awesome taking down a giant like Zane. Zane had a bunch of underperforming players. Christian McCaffrey getting hurt. Definitely not.
I think honestly, if he stays in the game, Zane wins.
Yeah.
Not many teams are gonna be able to stop him from putting up 15 a game. So
yeah,
if he stays in the game, I think Zane takes a W here. But it's part of the fantasy football.
Yeah, it's part of how it works. And Najee Harris going out and getting 28.2 points. Awesome for Anthony. Hopefully he can continue those kind of performances, and Anthony can get a few more wins before the season's over.
Yeah, I like it. I like the the performance from Zane's team besides Christian McCaffrey and Aaron Rodgers. You could also say underperformed based on what he can usually do, but overall, it was a good performance from Zane's team. You just hate to see McCaffrey getting hurt, and I think obviously he only lost by 2, so McCaffrey getting hurt really did shape the way that this matchup went. So,
and
the rest of the team played pretty solid. I'd like to see a few more points out of Marvin Jones being the number one wide receiver in Jacksonville, but that team is struggling for sure right now. So that's my possibility week to week.
This was another fantasy game that came down to a Monday night decider. Greg Zuerlein, Anthony was down by a little more than 3 points, so he needed a field goal and a little bit extra to take home the win, and he ended up getting, I believe, a field goal and a few extra points. One of the extra points was missed by Zuerlein, so that sort of raised eyebrows if Anthony was actually going to be able to win, but he ended up pulling it through.
Yep. You're going to get when you get 41 points from the offense, you better hope that the kicker is going to be able to put up more than 3.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to my performance, subpar, but luckily Ryan had a little more subpar of a week. Not representative of what Ryan can do.
Not at all.
In my opinion, not representative of what my team can do. I think Kyler Murray's way better than 18 points, and he'll prove that next week. A.J. Brown got hurt after one play, super disappointing. And then Dalvin Cook, my star, did not start this week because of an ankle injury. I'm hoping is cleared by next week. But, 112 is just about what to expect when your star wide receiver and star running back aren't playing.
Actually, to the point of Cook, I'd keep an eye on that for sure because he's kind of been plagued throughout his career with lower body injuries, and definitely want to make sure that you can maybe trade for Madison because
don't you curse me.
I'm just the history says anything that it's get Madison on your team when you can because he's definitely the number 2 back there and he's the next man up for sure.
We'll get to Owen's game soon after this.
Owen has been a notorious big fan of having Alexander Madison on his team, so
definitely works.
It's true.
It works.
I remember watching the Thursday night game with you, Alex, and it seemed like DJ Moore was the only one getting catches for the Panthers.
Oh yeah, and that was the first player of this matchup to play, putting up 20 points. I was super excited for a 150-point week, and then it just did not come to fruition.
That's how it goes, though. I mean,
you gotta. Super happy about the Broncos defense putting up 17 points. I don't know if that'll continue because they're playing against the Jets. So
yeah,
that's an easy double-digit defense day when you're playing the Jets. So
right.
That continues. I don't know off the top of my head who the Broncos are playing next week. I do know the Broncos are undefeated only because they've been playing teams that haven't won yet this season.
Yeah. 0-9 overall record for 3 teams is
nothing against Teddy. Nothing against Teddy.
No, not at all.
Teddy 2 gloves.
Let's see.
But for Ryan's team here, lackluster performance. I think kind of the issue with Taylor here is he's playing with a quarterback with 2 messed up ankles, and
yeah, that's not going to help.
He's RB1 for sure. I wouldn't be too worried about him. Cooper was oddly quiet.
Mm-hmm. Especially
he has been
for an offense.
He has been
41 points.
Ever since week 1 when Amari Cooper put up 40 on me. He's been very quiet since then. So,
and that's kind of how he's been, though, if I remember correctly. I mean, he's definitely a streaky player. He'll have games where he's got 2 or 3 touchdowns, and then the next couple of games he goes quiet.
That can happen. And then you look at the 49ers defense, a great defense, putting up -1. You don't expect that out of the 49ers.
No, you're not going to get many performances out of that defense that are even in the, I don't know, just anything below 0 for them is crazy. You're not going to see many below 5 for them. So, yeah.
But if I remember correctly, their secondary is kind of beat up right now. So they're, playing backups and first-year guys in those safety positions, and it's a lot to ask against Aaron Rodgers.
Good point. All right. And before we move on, I'd like to mention the only undefeated team remaining in the league so far is Alex's team. Yeah, boy. So, good job.
Yeah.
Congrats.
If you don't lose
any, when you want to hear it, congrats.
If I don't lose any games, this just stays right here. So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's a reason it's here and not in Bowling Green, isn't it? Isn't there?
Well, there's a reason it's not Bowling Green because the team in Bowling Green hasn't been to the.
That's a good point.
Hey, listen.
Just to mention, I mean,
If Lamar Jackson didn't have to take a dump in that one game, then I would have eliminated you in the first round of the playoffs. So
yeah, and then you
just
would have went
saying.
to the finals and Devon would have won. So thank you for.
We don't know. We don't know what would have happened.
We don't know. All right, Jeff versus Owen. I think quite the upset. I don't think anyone predicted Owen to win here. So good job to Owen. You had it in your heart. I thought in my heart you were going to win. Congrats. Alexander Madison, huge performance out of him. If Cook
good
comes
pickup.
back, you
Really
can't
was.
pick that same number. But if Cook is gone next week, expect Owen to put up another good game.
Yep.
And then an underperforming Jeff team, which we haven't seen yet this year. Not even, I don't even see like huge underperformances, just like average or below average for most of his players.
Yeah, his wide
Well,
receivers
Juju.
really, Juju, CD, and Tyreek all scoring less than you would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, though, I kind of see that coming down the line again with Juju, just because that team does not look good.
Did you see that play from
Roethlisberger looks washed
where
up.
he just fell over?
Yeah, it's
I wish we were good enough.
might be time to bail on him.
I wish we were good enough at editing to include that clip in here. Just
That's why we
imagine,
need
Pretty
our
bad.
imagine
our-
a tree falling over.
our production intern Joey is taking the week off, so we aren't able to do that.
Yeah, we need to hire him soon. Owen's kicker putting up 16 points. That's fantastic.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Just an overall really good performance from Owen, and not what you want to see from Jeff. Moving forward, hopefully Owen can keep up that high scoring. Any other comments?
I think we've just about covered it.
Yeah. All right, and that concludes the games for this week. Let's look at the standings. Devon leading that first crudely named division.
I don't know if we can say that on the
I don't
air.
I don't even want to think about that name.
It's disgusting. It's truly gross. I just
childish.
ugh.
Leading
I've
that.
talked to the other GMs of the division. I had nothing to do with it.
Hey, I mean, I'm not going to put the blame on you, but there's four of you, so I'm going to say you got 25% of the blame. Only team 2-1 right now, Devon. 85% chance to make the playoff. That's a new feature we've added in from ESPN's projections into Double L. So I guess that's brought to you by ESPN. Also, we have points against now in addition to our points for. A lot of the teams in that division have similar points for, and it looks like the difference is point against, really. Dom has a lot more points against
Yeah,
him.
Tom's gotten put to the test for sure.
And he's the only team that hasn't won a game yet, so we'll see what happens in the upcoming weeks. Moving on to Allen's division.
Division 2.
Tie in regards to wins for the first three teams at 2, with Ryan 1-2 right now. I find it interesting, the playoff percentages. Owen has 2 wins, the same as Allen, and more points for than Allen. Yet Allen has an 80% chance to make the playoffs, and Owen only has a 15% chance. I find that interesting. ESPN thinks that Allen just has a better team for the long haul than Owen does.
But I could also take into account, who he's playing against the rest of the year.
I think one thing that takes into account is Alexander Madison might not get as many
That too.
this week, so that could be part of it. I still think it should be a little higher than 15 personally. I think there's a good shot Owen makes the playoffs. All right. And Alan, you gotta like to see that 80% number. You probably like
I do. I like obviously it's just a projection. We got a long way to go and anything can happen, but it does it is nice to see that high number.
Yeah, it is. All right, and moving on to the Krusty Cooters. Allegedly the best division. Only one team out of that division won this week, though, being myself. They could be falling from grace. In order, Alex E and Jeff Zane. 3 wins for myself, 2 for Ian and Jeff, 1 for Zane. When you look at points for leading the division, I have the least amount of points for out of the entire division, and not even top 6, not even the top half points for in the league. I just have the lowest points against. So in the future, that could hurt me.
Helps.
That could end up hurting me if I don't put up good numbers. And I do like the 93% playoff percentage, though. I don't know if I agree with that. It's probably a little lower than 93, but I like to see that. And
Alex, it's very interesting to take into account that 93% chance when you have scored the least amount in your division and you have the least amount of points against in the entire league. So I'm not trying to say that you're a bad team by any stretch, but it does seem like you've gotten pretty lucky so far.
No, I totally agree with that, and that's a huge reason I can be scared moving forward. Because I'm gonna play every team in the league at least once, and that point against number is gonna go up at some point. So can my points for also go up?
Actually, I'd like to add a hot take here,
Yeah, go ahead.
if I could. I think Alex makes the playoffs, but I think he loses in the first round.
Oh,
Wow.
wait, the hot take.
Have you played against anybody in your division yet, Alex?
I have not.
There you go.
I have not played against anyone in my division. I do have a hard matchup coming up this week. We'll get to in the next slide. That's you, Alan. So we'll see if my team actually can perform.
We shall see.
And I guess let's just take a look at those matchups. Bobby taking on Dom. Alan taking on
Big
Alex.
game.
Yeah,
The double L game.
double Al game. This could be.
Last time I matched up against you, I lost by 3 points because Lamar Jackson had to take a dump. So then he came back out, took the lead, and then the Browns had to pass, so they didn't hand it off to Nick Chubb, and I needed 3 points with Nick Chubb, and then I would have won.
Maybe we'll have to do something special for that on double Al.
Just want to question how long it took him to think of that, rather than just accepting that his team didn't perform when he needed him to.
Oh, I've been thinking about it since last winter.
Since that game happened. All right, and Devon, you're taking on Ryan. Ryan underperformed this week. You can hope for that same underperformance next week when he's going up against you. We'll find out.
Honestly, that could either be a definitely one-sided game, or I think it could be close. I think it'll potential for a good game.
We got Ian taking on Anthony. That'll be interesting. Anthony overperforming expectations this week. Ian underperforming. We'll see where that ends up. Zane taking on Jeff. Interdivision game. Could be tough. We'll see what happens. And then Joey taking on Owen. Another interdivision game. That being said, Bobby versus Dom, I think, is also interdivision. So just pointed all those out.
That's a big game for Dom. Dom's got to win that one.
Yeah, Devon, rapid fire. He does if he wants to have any shot at making the playoffs. So let's have a rapid fire. Devon, go through. Tell me who's winning each one of these games.
All right. I think Dom's going to win. I think Alex is going to win. I got to root for myself. Ian, I think it's going to be a blowout. I think Ian's going to easily win that game. I think Zane takes the win, and then I think Owen's going to perform well again. I'm going to pick Owen.
Good calls. Alan, you want to go?
I think Dom is going to get unlucky yet again. I think a lot of his losses so far have been unlucky more than they have been on Dom being bad. And I think Bobby's been a very streaky player so far. He's put up big weeks and he's put up really low weeks. And I think he's due for a big week. So I'm going to say Bobby's beating Dom. I got to go with myself in my matchup against you. I think Devon's going to beat Ryan. I think Ian's going to beat Anthony. I think Jeff is going to beat Zane, and I think Joey's going to beat Owen.
Good calls. That Bobby Dom one's tough to predict. I think I'm going to go with Bobby. I think he's going to make a comeback from last week's lowest scoring game and actually have a pretty good game. The Alan versus Alex, I really want to go for myself. But what's more important, Alan being a pretty good team right now or me going with myself? I'm going to do something controversial and go for Alan just so I can predict every game right next week.
Wow.
I do really entirely want to win this game, but
he's going to throw. You heard it here first.
I'm going to try entirely to win. I'm not going to sabotage myself just so I can have this prediction right, but I think Alan might pull out It'll be a close one. It'll be a close one. Devon, if you perform like last week, I think you got it. I think this might be another surprise with Anthony beating Ian. No one's predicted that yet, so I think I'm going to take that one. Jeff takes Zane. I think Joey's going to take Owen, but I also think that one's going to be close.
I can see that being close too.
All right. Alan, let's hear who you think the highest and lowest scoring players of the week are going to be.
Oh, I've been thinking about it, and I don't.
Really? I haven't. I'm just going to guess.
I think I'm going to go with. I'm going to give Jeff highest score of the week.
Okay.
And I'm going to, for lowest.
Did you say Zane was going to win that game, or did you say Jeff?
I think I said Jeff was going to win that game,
Yeah.
but my whole predictions might be completely screwed up now if I said the other way. And then for lowest score, I said Anthony last week, but I'm going to say Anthony again because
Okay.
it's not a great team.
I screwed Bobby last week, so I don't want to do that again. I think for lowest score, I'm going to go with Dom. Dom, I hope it's not true, but for this prediction, I think you might have the lowest score of the week. And then for highest score, that's tough. Last week I said Joey. It ended up being Devon. Super unexpected. Can Devon pull that out again? I don't know. He might score top 3. I don't know if he's going to get number 1. So for that reason, I think I'm taking... I'll go with Zane. Zane's going to score highest. I can't remember if I said Zane or Jeff's going to win that game, though. So hopefully I said Zane. All right, Devon.
So I think Zane's gonna go high,
Let's go.
and then although now that I'm thinking, I can't remember if I said Zane or Jeff's gonna win, so I'm gonna change that. Ian's gonna score the highest, and then
Ian's not going to score the highest because Anthony's going to win that game.
I think Bobby's gonna underperform again.
Okay.
I'll take the blame for this jinx this time.
No, I'm the one that predicts the jinxes. So Bobby, you're in luck. You're going to win this week.
You're solid. Yep. Congratulations, Bobby.
Congrats. Any other comments before we wrap this one up, boys?
You gotta go to the next slide.
Yeah. Well, this is the thank you for watching slide. So Devon, I appreciate you coming on to Double Al. It's been a good time.
Glad I was here.
We should do it with that balloon.
Actually, I would like to say that I feel like Eli in that picture with the,
Come on,
the way
give
that I
it
was.
to us, Devon. Give it to us. Come on. All right, that being said,
Fair enough.
thank you for coming and watching Double Al. We appreciate it. We hope you had a good time, and we hope to see you next week.